All right, I am live. Beautiful. Well, welcome everyone to day 3 of Create Your Reality. Can you believe it? We are almost halfway through with this challenge. Please, as you're joining in, say hello in the chat in YouTube Live. Make sure that you are first subscribed to the channel before you're able to post live. Hello, Yvette. So good to see you. How have you been? Write it in the chat. How are you all feeling today? You watch all 3 days. Did you clarify your goal? What is that you truly want? What is that your heart's really desires? What is your C-type goal? Have you identified any of the limiting beliefs? What paradigms have you discovered? I'm sure that this wasn't your first time that you said, I'm going to go for it, but there's experiences in your life that you probably wanted to go after something that you love and something made you pull back. Yes, me too. All right. So give me one word in the chat. That describes your energy tonight. How do you feel? All right. I feel amazing. I feel amazing because I'm super excited about this lesson today. This is the real breakthrough. And I'm going to be honest with you. Today is the day that separates the people who want to change from the people who actually do change. Feel like you want to learn more? Well, there you go. You're in the right place. So on day 1, we talked about setting a goal. Your first master key to creating a new reality. Yesterday, we identified the paradigms, the limiting beliefs, those subconscious programmings that are running in the background of your life. And today, we're dealing with the defense mechanism of that mental program. We're talking about that wall of fear that hits you right when you're about to level up. So today, I would like to start the day with playing a short video of my mentor, Bob Proctor.
Is one of the greatest moves a person. Hello there and welcome. Overcoming fear is one of the greatest moves a person can make. First of all, we have to ask ourselves what causes fear. Fear is caused by ignorance, not knowing. And if we're going to go and do anything new, if we're going to break out of a paradigm, if we're going to change habit patterns, we're wandering into an area we've never been. And fear stops most people. You'll find people afraid to talk to a stranger. You'll find individuals afraid to stand up and ask a question in front of other people. You'll find salespeople afraid to make a sales call, afraid to ask for the order. Stop and think of how confining that is. A person's putting themselves into a small cell, but it's in their own mind. The doors aren't locked. They can open, and you can walk away to freedom if you learn to overcome fear. When you face fear, it leaves you. Face the thing you fear, and it'll leave you. That's really the secret of it. In fact, if you hold yourself back because of fear, your life actually comes to a stop because nothing gets better than it is. You've got to be courageous. Now, courageous people aren't without fear. Courageous people are the ones that face their fear. I think Eddie Rickenbacker pointed that out, the great pilot. Don't let fear stop you. Make up your mind you're going to step out and do it. Stop and think of the number of people that are in jobs that they don't like and they're afraid to leave. or people in relationships that are destructive and they're afraid to leave. This is a terrible way to live, and it's not necessary. It's just caused by ignorance. And when we step out and do something, we gain an awareness. We develop an understanding. And like that, the fear is gone. Make up your mind that fear is not going to stop you from doing the thing you really want to do. Step out and do it today. It's Bob Proctor. Thank you.
All right. Any takeaways from that video? Step out and do it anyways. That's what this lesson here today is all about. I'm going to be using this board shortly. I just hope that you guys are able to see it. So the moment that you decide to go after your goal, something happens. Everything in you will try to stop you. That paradigm, those limiting beliefs are really going to start to scream at you. You literally going to hear that voice inside of your head says, are you sure you're going to do this? Know that that is just a self-doubt. Okay? And you know now how to face it after today. Then the voice can say, how are you going to do it? You don't know enough. The imposter syndrome. You don't have the money. What if I fail? What will everyone say about me? That will be embarrassing. And you will start to procrastinate because of the fear of judgment. And that procrastination is nothing but a fear in disguise. So, from everything you've learned so far, and what you're going to learn here today, you will see that your next level life, your new reality, starts with choice. There's a popular verse in the Bible that says, choose this day whom you'll serve. You can't serve two masters, the old and the new self. You have to choose one. And that's what you will learn here today. Because the beautiful thing is, the mind can only think one thought at a time. Okay? You can either think from the place of your current reality, or you can start thinking from the goal. Which master you are going to serve, the paradigm or your dream? The choice is yours. So, over the last couple of days, I introduced this model, this concept about how the mind operates, okay? Your subconscious mind, your paradigm is designed for one thing and one thing only, survival. To keep you safe. Safe in bondage, safe in comfort zone. And it loves routine. That's why it's habitual, okay? It loves predictability. The brain wants nothing but to predict the future every minute, every day, every hour, every year, okay? But even that routine is miserable. To the brain, it's known as familiar. And this is why people choose to rather suffer than change, okay? So when you introduce a new idea, a new pattern, or a new identity, a new goal that is outside your comfort zone, your current reality, your subconscious mind will literally scream danger inside of your head. And that's what fear is. That's when you stop and you hit the blank wall and you say, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to move forward. It blocks you, okay? It puts you in the fight or flight mode or freeze mode. But you have to understand that fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal of growth. It is an indicator that you are on the right path, pushing against the boundaries of these old paradigms. Okay, so I want you to now see how fear plays in your life. Let's do a quick overview about the stick person, okay? You've learned now that we have a conscious and subconscious mind, and then we have our superconscious mind, that is the infinite potential. Based on the thoughts that we think on daily basis, or the most dominant thoughts, we create a feeling in our body, okay? The feeling in our body dictates the vibration in our body. Based on how we feel, based on the vibration, we're prone to take a certain action, to make a choice or behave in a certain way, and that action determines our current results, okay? This is the formula, how the mind operates. On conscious level, we can accept or reject any thought or idea. On subconscious level, however, it can only accept. It has no ability to reject, okay? The conscious mind speaks the language of thoughts. The subconscious mind speaks the language of emotions, of feelings, all right? Now, we also talked that the conscious mind thinks in pictures, okay? Every thought creates a picture image in our mind. Okay, so let's flip this to the next chart. All right, so this chart here represents your current reality. These lines are frequencies, okay? On the bottom is your current reality that represents the lower frequencies. And the top, this is your goal. This is the higher frequencies, okay? Now, when you create a goal, let's say this is where you are here today. And let's just assume maybe you're not happy with the results that you're having in life in any area. Could be anything, okay? You might be successful in something, but not in everything, okay? So this is where you are. Over the last 2 days, you've learned that your thoughts and your feelings create your results, okay? Now, and I also examined you yesterday. I asked you to examine your limiting beliefs of what is that makes you go thinking from that old self. Why do you have the results that you're having? What are those limiting beliefs? What are the thought patterns? What are the emotional patterns? Where are you stuck in life? Okay, because we must first get to a place of awareness to see where we at to be able to change it. Okay, so let's say you're here, you're operating from worry and lack. Okay, let's assume that this is like a money problem. Okay, and right now, let's say you make $50,000 a month, a year, and you want to make $100,000. That's your goal. Okay, now every day maybe there's not enough money, and you're thinking of place of worry and lack, how you're going to survive, la la la. And on day one, you created yourself a new C-type goal. Okay. Now, in order for you to achieve that goal, you have to start thinking from the goal achieved. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, they all have to be in alignment of the goal achieved. Okay. Well, how does that look like? Let's say you did achieve that. You made the $100,000. What thoughts would that person have on their daily basis? Okay. Now you're no longer in lack, but you're in overflow. How would you feel when you're overflow? Would you still worry? Probably not. Would you wake up happy and in comfort, like, wow, life is great. You can do whatever you want, right? Doesn't that gives you more freedom than what you're today? Probably yes. Now, you have to wake up every morning. That freedom feeling has to be your dominant emotion, okay? Those thoughts of the goal achieved, they have to be the dominant thoughts. Who's next to you? Okay, what are the things that you do? What are the experiences you have? Okay, how do you think? How do you treat people? How do you talk to people? Okay, do you still react to life or do you respond to life? Okay, so you have to literally change your identity first. right? We're going to be talking about that on Sunday. And you have to act like that person right now. All right? Some of those new emotions could be you wake up joyful, you wake up happy, excited, grateful. Okay? Grateful that you finally achieve your goal. Okay? So let's go down to the next chart. So for us to understand how fear controls our lives and how fear plays a huge role in our life in order for us to achieve our goal, we are breaking this fear in 4 stages of understanding, okay? The first stage is we call the bondage, all right? This is the current stage where you're right now, your current results. And for the simplicity of understanding, the thoughts, the current results, I mark them with X, and the new will be marked with Y on the next chart. Now, in bondage, in your comfort zone, in the mental prison, you have X ideas in your consciousness. X ideas produce X emotion. X emotion puts us in X vibration, and that gives us the current X type results. Okay? Most people live life here in this mode, okay, in bondage. And every New Year's resolution, they're like, okay, I'm changing. This is what I'm going to do this year. They set a goal. And guess what happens? Nothing changes. Okay? Nothing changes. And they lose faith in themselves that if they will ever be able to achieve their goal. And they might try and do some stuff on the outside, okay? Trying to change the results instead of changing the source, the paradigm, okay? And yesterday, learn, in order for us to change the results, we must change the paradigm first. Why? Because the paradigm, our inner world, is reflection on the outside world. Results are reflection on the inner world. Bob Proctor always says, show me your results and I show you where your paradigm is. So the right way of changing is change the paradigm, change the results. It's the law. Okay? So this is before you came here on Monday. Let's assume this was your current situation. You are at a certain type of result in your life, and now you want to change. Now, you understand it better. Oops, here, hold on. You set yourself a goal. Now you know that you need to think from the place of a new goal, right? And here we go. You start introducing a Y thought, a thought that represents your goal achieved. So what happens? You start maybe saying your affirmation, you're thinking about this stage is called reasoning, okay? You're reasoning, it's like, okay, what thoughts do I need to think? What ideas do I need to entertain? You are in your conscious mind, all right? And that's great. That's the first step. You're doing everything right. But then after a while, you see nothing change. The results are still the same. Why? Because even though you start thinking, if you do not get emotionally involved with your goal, there is no change in the paradigm. And what do we say? New results, it's the paradigm that has to change. This is the conditioning, this is the mental program, your habitual behavior. This is what needs to change first for the result to reflect that change, okay? Now, if we only change on conscious level, everything stays the same, all right? Is this helpful? All right. All right. Let's go to stage number 3, conflict. Now you understand that not only you have to change your thoughts, you also have to change your emotions. Okay? And you start doing the best. Let's see what's happening when you're in this stage of conflict. All right? So if you stay where you at, like by Monday, if this is the first time you show up here in the challenge and you didn't know how the mind operates, an ordinary person doesn't know what to do, meaning they're in state of ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing, okay? And when you don't know what you do, you spend your whole life worry about what's going to happen. You have all doubts how tomorrow will look like, and that leads to fear, okay? When we have ignorance and worry and self-doubt on conscious level, on subconscious level, we're in state of fear, all right? Our vibration in our body is anxiety, all right? That's why so many people are anxious, because they're in constant state of fear, of unknown, okay? Worry and doubts. When we are in state of anxiety is something, it's suppressed, okay? It's suppressed. So suppression for a long time, for on like a daily basis, for a prolonged period of time, chronically, leads to depression. And you stay depressed for long, you are in a state of dis-ease. This means a body that's not at ease, okay? And after some time, dis-ease leads to disintegration or death, okay? So now, knowing how this mind operates, you start to gain what? Knowledge and understanding. This is so important for us to understand this beautiful modus operandi, how it works, so we can then create a life that we love. So let's see here. Here's the why thought. You understand that now you have to think from your goal. You study, you get all the right specialized knowledge, and you start to introduce the new feeling from the goal achieved. Okay? And now you know that if you keep doing this, you start beginning to trust the process. With other words, you start to gain faith in yourself. Okay? If you truly understand this, say, okay, if this is how this works, if this is a law of the universe, then I have to trust this process. Okay? So thoughts, feelings, and what happens here, because you just started doing this, there's going to be a process. There's going to be a period in your life when you still have not changed this old paradigm here, X paradigm. You're introducing a new emotions, and now your body is in a conflict. And you might jump one day, you feeling great, but then the next day, you see the circumstance or current result, they kind of hit you. You start self-doubting. Guess what? You're jumping back to the old self. Okay? And this is what creates the conflict, internal war. All right? But because now you know, you're so aware of how everything works, you keep persevering, generate that new feeling of the goal achieved. And when you really do this work on daily basis, you're changing your vibration. All right. So now the body feels X and Y. Okay. You're still in the process of changing. And your results will also reflect X and Y. All right. Now, let's say you're at $50,000. Now you start to begin to thinking about from $100,000. Okay. You start like acting like it, and whoops, you're going to see your results might go up to 70 grand. All right. Or 1 month you might double it, but the next month you go back. Okay. Because you still have not changed this paradigm, the old paradigm. Okay. That is the internal conflict. Now you keep You keep doing the work, you keep progressing, you're not giving up, you keep moving with faith. And let's say what's happening here. When you keep doing the work, okay, on consistent basis, when you keep taking the action from the goal achieved, to think the thoughts, to feel the feelings, your results begin to change. That you get better and better. Now, let's see how this side on the right looks like. You get the knowledge, you study, you have the faith. When you feel good, all right, when you have new results, when your state of faith, you see like, wow, my life's changing. That's pretty good, right? What is that? Do you feel good? That brings your vibration to a well-being. All right, you're excited about life. So when you're excited, you are more inspired to do the next day, same thing, right? You believe in yourself. So you're in a state of acceleration. That's a speed. The universe loves speed. The faster you move, the more you believe and you get excited, right? Everything there is, you keep on attracting faster, your results faster, okay? Bigger, better opportunities start to showing up in your life. Acceleration leads to ease. Your life just in a flow at ease, okay? And this whole process here, it's called creation, okay? Because you are not in a creation out of negative emotions, okay? Your only creation happens with positive emotions. When we are in a great mindset, positive mindset, when we want to create something that brings us love, gratitude, higher vibrational emotions. Okay, all good so far? Is this helpful for you guys to understand? Make sense? All right, next chart. All right, so here the fourth stage is called freedom. What happens when on the previous stage, right? Imagine that this line right here, my piece of art, my masterpiece, it's in the middle, okay? The left side on the previous chart represents all the negativity, okay, your current state, and now you learn that no matter what, you keep doing the work, you keep on taking the action, right? You have the knowledge, you keep moving forward. Every moving forward, no matter how you feel, that when fear shows up in your life, when you wake up and you're like, I don't know what to do, okay? You already written everything down, okay? What you need to do, and you do it anyways. Every rejection, maybe if you make a call, if you get rejected, does that mean that you're gonna give up to make the second call? No, you're gonna keep moving forward, okay? You might be rejected 5-10 times, and that's okay. Know that you have to persevere. You have to keep on taking the action, okay? So eventually, when you start breaking, when you keep persevering, take the action anyway, you hold that frequency of your goal, boom, one day you move to the other side, to the side of freedom. Okay, what happens when you're on the side of freedom? When you're inside of freedom, that means that you broke through the old paradigm, that now your subconscious mind accepted the new belief, okay? Because you persevered through consistency longer and longer, okay, on daily basis, longer enough that the subconscious mind thinks now, wow, she really means business, okay? Okay, this is it. Let's change the vibration. Okay. And now the mind, the body, and the results are all aligned. Okay. And this is when quantum leaps happen. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up feeling great. Okay. You're like excited for the day. Okay, what am I going to do? Every idea that you want to do that follows a positive feeling, excitement with it. The body follows. That means the body knows it's in a great vibration. There's absolutely no fear, but you operate from state of freedom. Okay. And the universe has no choice but to give you all the synchronicities, the right people, the right opportunities in your life, and ultimately change your life and create the reality that you want. Okay. Any questions so far? Is all this good? Yvette, absolutely. Yes. Beautiful. So every time you take a step towards your new goals, believe me that you're going to be tested. Okay. There have been countless of times in my life when fear tried to stop me. Times when I doubted myself, when fear said you're not good enough. But every single time that I hear that voice in my head, I remember this: move anyway. And I choose to move through it with faith. I always choose faith over fear. Okay. And that's what I'm here to share this with you. So that when fear kicks in your life, you know exactly what you need to do. People just like you who came into this program feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, and paralyzed by fear. People who, through accountability, faith, and consistent action, shattered their old paradigms and step into their lives of abundance, step into life of joy and freedom. And their stories could be your story. Their triumphs are your potential, because there's no difference between me and you, between every person that was able to achieve greatness in their life and you. You just have to follow the process, follow the formula of success. Okay? So next, I would like to play another short video for you that will inspire you every time you get struck by fear.
Skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. I gotta stand up. I'm sorry, I gotta stand up. You go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. And you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah. And you go home you by yourself, you're like, Right? You're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, and you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane and you can't figure out why you would do that. So you get there and then you have this safety brief and you're standing there and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is you're doing, well, why the hell, what could happen? So you get onto the airplane and you're sitting there and you know, it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet and somebody opens the door. And in that moment, you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Terror, 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 terror. And then people start going out of the airplane. And the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. They say, on 3. 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3. And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. There's 0 fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. The lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. That was my experience with
God plays the best things on outside of fear. How powerful is that message? The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And I hope this lesson today inspired you, that now you know that fear is just a sign that you're in the right path. We never let fear stop us, but we face fear because we know exactly what's waiting after we face fear. I want you to remember that transformation isn't in the knowledge. It's in the courageous, imperfect action you take afterwards. So don't let this be just another day of passive learning. You have a C-type goal waiting for you on the other side of fear. Every moment you hesitate, the paradigm gets stronger. Every moment you act, your faith grows stronger. So choose today to be the one who breaks the wall. Because life is so much beautiful on the other side of fear. Freedom. I want to tell you a story about how our monkey mind works. A man went to a wise master and said, "Master, my mind won't stop. One moment I'm thinking about work, the next about money, the next about my family, and then my future. I cannot find peace." The master smiled and said, "I have a monkey for you." The man looked confused. "A monkey?" "Yes," said the master, "but there's one condition. For the next 24 hours, you may think about anything you want except the monkey. Whatever you do, do not think about the monkey." The man laughed and says, "Oh, that's easy." But as soon as he left, guess what happened? The monkey appeared in his mind. He tried to focus on work, monkey. He tried to eat dinner, monkey. He tried to sleep, monkey. The more he tried not to think about the monkey, the more the monkey took over his mind. The next day he returned exhausted to the master, and he said, "Master, I could not stop thinking about the monkey." The master smiled and said, "Well, now you understand the nature of the mind. The mind is like the monkey, always jumping from branch to branch, from thought to thought, from fear to fear, from memory to possibility." See, most people spend their entire lives trying to fight their thoughts. But the more you fight them, the stronger they become. The goal is not to control every thought. The goal is to become aware of the thinker, to observe the monkey without becoming the monkey. Because the moment you realize, I'm not my thoughts, I'm the observer, you begin to take your power back. Fear is often just the monkey mind, jumping into the future, creating problems that don't exist yet. But faith is bringing the mind back to the present moment and choosing what you want to focus on. Choosing your goal, choosing yourself, choosing the reality you want to create. So as we wrap up tonight, I want to leave you with one question. What would your life look like if you stop letting fear make your decisions? Because here's what I've learned. Fear will always give you reasons to stay where you are. Faith will always invite you to become who you're capable of becoming. The choice is yours. Tonight, I want you to do something simple. Think about your goal. Think about the fear you identified, and then ask yourself, what's one action I can take despite the fear? Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking the next step anyway. Okay? Do it anyway. Remember that your future isn't created by the thoughts you think. It's created by the actions you take. And actions always begin with a decision. Which brings me to tomorrow. Tomorrow is, in my opinion, one of the most important days of this entire challenge. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the power of decision, and you will discover why most people never create the life that they truly want, not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunities, but because they've never made a committed decision. There's a huge difference between being interested in your goal and being committed to your goal. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how one decision can completely change the direction of your life. So do not miss tomorrow. Be here live, bring your workbook, bring an open mind. Because tomorrow, you won't just learn how to make a decision, you may make the decision that changes your life. Just like it changed it for Jack. Jack texted me today, just a few hours ago, and he said, I'm going to read you the text. Last month, I offered many of you to book a call with me so that I can help you clarify your goal and get you on the path how you're going to achieve the goal. So Jack booked the call, and he said, Vesna, after our phone consultation and that coaching training, I laid down for a nap. I woke up with three-word message: write a book. So I did. I took 10 days using AI for a cleanup. Now I have a completed manuscript. This serves as the nerve center for my coaching. Getting my approach in book form gives me a foundation to work from. Thank you so much for your influence. I took action. Isn't that powerful? Showing up on this challenge, getting inspired, and to move straight into action. He did not allow the paradigm to stop him, to keep him in bondage, because he has been thinking about this for so long. He took the action. 10 days later, he has an actual plan to move forward in life. So be like Jack. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, choose faith over fear. Choose faith over fear. Thank you so much for being with me here live. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6. Ciao.